Hello, I'm Mike from the Bruce County Public Library. In today's demonstration, we're going to be learning how to make our own short animated movie. Animated films and shows are made up of thousands of images. They don't really move, but when we flip through them quickly, it fools our eyes into seeing movement. Now I'd like to show you how to use the camera on a phone or a tablet to make your own movie. This will take a lot of patience and permission from a responsible adult. Before you begin, and with your local adult's permission, download an app by searching free stop motion animation and choose your favorite. Allow access to the camera. I'm going to use this cardboard box to make my own little animation studio. It will hold my phone steady and allow me to move my characters around inside. First, you'll need to tape it up so that it's closed on both ends. Then, on what will be the top, draw a line from corner to corner in both directions. And that will show you where the middle of the box is. That's where my phone camera is going to be looking through to record things happening inside. Cut a hole about the size of a quarter, and I recommend using something like a steak knife with a serrated edge that can't cut you too much if you make any mistakes, but still, have an adult do this for you. On one face, I've taken a ruler and drawn all the way around, just the thickness of the ruler. This little frame that's still here helps keep the box rigid so things don't wiggle too much. And inside will be my little recording space. I've made a background, and I hope you will too. It can be just a blank piece of paper, it can be a drawing, a painting, anything that you can imagine that goes with your story. I've taken colored construction paper and cut out a sun, some hills, a little foreground, and a tree. And this background will be placed inside the box on the bottom. It sits nice and flat. I had to trim it a little bit to get it to fit inside the box, but it actually was just about the right size. Now the phone will go on top to film through this hole. And if it's a little dark inside, it may seem that way, it's a good idea to get a lamp and just brighten things up in there while you're recording. Next, you'll need characters. The more complicated you make them, the more complicated your animation will be. So I suggest making them with not too many moving parts. Now mine, I did make a few. I attached a mouth, a head, a moving leg, and a tail to the fox. And I have a crow here. This will be the fable of the crow and the fox by Aesop. It's a short story. On the back of these characters, I glued a piece of thread with a little glue here and there, but there's no glue in the middle. See how it moves? And that will let me move the parts around, but when I move them, the whole thing won't end up blowing away in the wind here. So you can see how I can animate this just a frame at a time, bit by bit. And I can make quite a lot of expression in these characters with just a few little parts. You can use wire or use nothing in the back at all. And if you would like a simpler project, by all means, don't make too many moving parts, keep it simple. With your camera set up on top of your box and everything in place, make sure your background is inside and your characters are ready to go. Mine will be starting off already inside the frame. And when I get the app going, I will set it with the timer. A lot of the apps have a timer on them, and I set it for about 10 seconds. That lets me time to move the pieces bit by bit between shots. If it's counting to 10, I have time to put my hand inside, move the little parts a bit, and be out of the way so not even my shadow is moving around in here. And the phone will take a camera without me touching it. If you have to touch it a lot, it makes the whole thing a little bit shaky every time as you're animating it. So it's quite nice to just have the time to move little tiny increments, a little at a time, photo by photo. And those all together will give the illusion of movement. Animating characters is a gradual step-by-step process. Every second of an animated feature is made up of at least 24 images. That's 1,440 pictures for a minute. If your story has any scenes or movements which repeat, you can save yourself a little time and effort by using a copy and paste function in your app. Concentrate on making these careful, incremental movements. You will be able to record a voiceover and sound effects when you're done. Here is my version of The Fox and the Crow by Aesop. Long ago, but not very far from here, a fox searched for food in the forest. Finding nothing, she was very hungry and her stomach rumbled. Meanwhile, above her in a tree sat a crow who had found a piece of bread far too big for him to swallow. The fox looked up and said, "Friend Crow, I admire you. I have always admired you. You are the most beautiful bird in the forest." At this, the crow leapt happily into the air. The fox thought and said, "Of course, what I truly admire, Friend Crow, is your beautiful singing voice." Unused to this compliment, the crow sat up and cawed its most beautiful song, "Caw!" as the bread fell from its open beak. The fox swallowed it whole, and the crow flew sadly away. Today we learned about how to make a short cut paper movie using a simple application and a lot of patience. Of course, paper is not the only thing we can animate. You can make stop motion films using drawings, modeling clay, Lego figures, and even your own body. What kind of story can you tell, and how? Try out another idea, but this time with different materials. What can you bring to life out of your imagination? For more animation inspiration, why not stop by the National Film Board of Canada's website at www.nfb.ca and watch Norman McLaren's instructional videos on animation. Or stop by your local branch of the Bruce County Public Library and take out a DVD, such as Chicken Run or Early Man by Nick Park, a fantastic claymation animator.
That's interesting. It looks like a pirate gun.
Nom nom nom. Ah!